Great.
Careful, honey, my makeup.
Huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. I have an appointment for a modeling job.
Who with?
Now, don't freak out, okay? Tony Reyes called me a little while ago.
I'm not gonna freak out. Who is it?
Mom! I'd better get a robe.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, darling. How you doing?
Good.
I just am on my way down to the courthouse, and I wanted to stop by and talk to you and Julie.
How's the trial going?
Oh, honey, darling, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. Barbara's going to be testifying again this afternoon, and then I expect to be called later.
Oh, wow. I don't have any classes this afternoon, so maybe I'll come by and see how Paul's doing.
Oh, well, I know he really would appreciate that. Listen, the reason I stopped by is I want to be sure that you and Julie join us for Thanksgiving. And, of course, the night before.
Do you really think Julie will feel welcome? I don't want her feeling uptight.
Well, of course she will be welcome. Why wouldn't she be?
Hello, Mrs. Hughes.
Hi, Julie. Listen, darling, I'm not going to stay. I'm on the run, but Andy has an invitation which he will share with you. And I hope that you guys agree to go, okay?
All right. I'll let you know at the courthouse later.
Great.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Well, my mom just invited us over for Thanksgiving and the night before, too. It's like the whole family gets together and, you know, gets ready for Thanksgiving. It's a tradition. What do you say? You want to go?
I would love to be there.
Excellent. Good. I'm going to be there.
My mom and I never did anything special for Thanksgiving.
Well, you better get used to it, because we're going to be spending a lot of holidays together from now on. Oh, your makeup. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll fix it.
I'll fix it.
I don't know, Pop. Maybe I shouldn't have told you about Lucy trying to run Susan out of town. I just felt sorry for Susan, you know?
No, somebody should have told me that. You're absolutely...
Ready, darling? Hi, Duke. How are you?
Great, thank you.
Well, it's good. I have the two of you together. I can ask you both if you'd like to have Thanksgiving dinner with me.
Thanks, but Leanne and I are going to go to Kim and Bob's.
Ah.
Yeah. Thanks anyway.
John?
Yes, Bob.
Can you cover for me? I want to take a couple of hours off today, go over to the courthouse. Kim may testify.
I have to testify this afternoon. I was going to ask you to cover for me.
Sure, you got it.
Thank you very much.
Lucinda?
Hi. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Could we skip the cafeteria? Could we get someplace nice for lunch? Huh?
Why don't we just drop this? Just heard about your threat to Susan last night.
Mrs. Munson, you've told the court how much you suffered during your marriage to James Stenbeck. I'm sure we're very sympathetic to that.
Well, I also told you that it wasn't just during my marriage. I suffered for many years afterwards, and so did my son.
You also testified that your ex-husband put your son through quite a bit of psychological damage. Could you be a little more specific?
While Paul was growing up, I never really told him the truth about his father. Since I believed that James was dead, I felt that it would put a needless burden on Paul. But after I found out that James wasn't dead, I told Paul some of the things that his father had done for his own protection. Paul didn't want to believe me. He wanted to love and respect his father, and James took advantage of that and played on Paul's vulnerability. As I told you, it wasn't until New York last spring that Paul...
Thank you. You've answered the question. Did Paul become close to Emily while he was still on good terms with his father?
Yes.
Now, how did you feel about this closeness?
I felt it was a rather unhealthy relationship.
How do you mean unhealthy?
Emily had been in love with Paul's father. I thought if Paul was around her a great deal, it might confuse him.
Did you feel this relationship was unhealthy the night he shot his father trying to protect her?
Objection. Calls for a conclusion on the part of the witness.
Your Honor, as I've said before, the relationship between Paul Stenbeck and Emily Stewart is crucial to the people's case.
Objection overruled. Please answer the question.
As the world turns.
the best. All right. I'll see you tonight. Bye. I have the night before Thanksgiving off.
Oh, terrific. Terrific.
I'm excited. So what should I wear?
Well, anything. I mean, you know, we're just gonna be hanging around the kitchen, making cranberry sauce and apple pie and stuffing and pumpkin pie.
Wait, you have 2 kinds of pies?
You weren't kidding when you said you never had a real Thanksgiving, were you?
No. My mom's idea of celebration was turkey pot pies. I was lucky if she defrosted them for me.
Those days are over. Wait till Christmas. I'm gonna put mistletoe all over the ceiling.
Oh, so sweet. Oh.
You look so beautiful.
Well, you don't have to look so sad about it.
I just wonder why Tonio wants to see you. I didn't think he could do anything before he got the enlargements of my photos.
Well, maybe he's got so much clout over at Veronica Leathers that they don't need to see my photographs.
I'm still not convinced he's on the level. Maybe I should go with you.
No, honey, no. You want to go to the trial, and besides, Paul needs you a lot more right now than I do. Don't worry about Tonio. I can handle him. I've been handling men on the make since I was 14 years old.
Well, I just got the checks for the grants, the new grants, and I want to say the increase will really help a lot.
I'm so glad. I want to do everything I possibly can.
Iva, I don't think that this hospital should become too dependent on just one benefactor, no matter how generous she may be.
Lucinda, I'd like to invite you out for Thanksgiving.
Oh, how very kind of you. My plans are up in the air at the moment. I'll have to get back to you.
Sure. Oh, and John, you're more than welcome to come.
My plans are up in the air at the moment. I'll have to get back to you. Tell your mother I appreciate the invitation.
Sure.
This is intolerable. Really. Intolerable. Every word I say, Susan blows up. I mean, words in the powder room, and she rushes to you and tells
Susan didn't say anything to me. Where do you get off threatening my doctors?
Threatening my doctor. Where do you live? Where is your brain? Have you never said anything in a moment of anger? You flaunted that woman at me
Susan
in the restaurant.
Susan has nothing to do with this.
Yeah. Susan takes advantage of our problems. Susan is no innocent.
Susan had nothing to do with our separation. If you think that... What's the point? What's the point?
What? What? Tell me, what's the point?
If it isn't this, it's going to be something else. It just keeps going around in circles. You're never going to change.
Oh. What about you? Can you never put yourself in my position? Never understand?
I'm so sorry, darling.
I went too far.
No, listen
I went much
listen
too
to me.
far.
Listen to me.
I
If
will
it
never
isn't
do
this,
it again.
it's going to be something else. Okay?
You said that.
Yes.
Yes.
So maybe we ought to just admit it to one another.
Yes.
This marriage doesn't work.
Right.
And maybe we ought to just call it quits.
What were your feelings when you learned your ex-husband was dead, killed by the son you had together?
Well, of course, I was very frightened for Paul, but I was also greatly relieved that James couldn't hurt us anymore.
Your husband, Detective Munson, has already testified that he heard Paul say he wished his father was dead. Did you ever hear him express that wish? Mrs. Munson, did you ever hear Paul say he hoped his father was dead?
Yes.
Did you hear him say that more than once?
Yes.
All right, now you've already testified that you found your son's relationship with Emily Stewart unhealthy because she'd had a long-term affair with his father. Were there other things in their relationship that made you uneasy?
No.
Well, what about the note he enclosed with the roses he gave her that night? Well, I'll refresh your memory. Your son wrote, "Dear Emily, I'm looking forward to dinner with you tonight, but I'm not looking forward to the end of our working together. I've told you many times how you've changed my life, and I want you to know that starting tonight, I promise you'll never have to worry about my father hurting you again." I love you, Paul. Don't you find that note suggestive in any way? Disturbing?
No!
Mrs. Munson, isn't it true you perjured yourself when you were on trial for James Stenbeck's murder 2 years ago?
Your Honor, objection! The witness was fully exonerated, and she's not on trial here.
Your Honor, this all leads to the credibility of this witness. It is crucial to the people's case.
Objection overruled. Please answer the question.
Yes.
Why did you perjure yourself? You had nothing to hide. You were innocent. Isn't it because you were trying to protect your son? Because you were afraid he had murdered his father?
Yes. Yes, it was. James had done so much over the years to hurt us, and he was a monster, and we lived in terror of him. And I thought Paul had shot him to protect me, and I couldn't let my son suffer anymore.
Order, please. Order in the court. Order, please.
Bye-bye, Kirk. What's wrong?
Emily told me something that's got me confused. She said that she ran into you at Brock's house outside of Chicago.
Yes.
Well, why didn't you tell me about that?
Craig, I didn't tell you about it because you were in Montega. I went to Chicago on business. I ran into Brock at a restaurant. He offered to take me to the airport. We stopped at his house to get some papers that he wanted me to deliver to Tonio. And while I was there, Emily showed up.
Why would Brock need you to bring papers to Tonio?
Well, I guess it's because Brock was in Chicago and Tonio was in Oakdale, and he needed to get the papers to him that night. Why are you making such a big deal out of it?
Because Tonio is a sleaze, and Brock should know that. Did you have to go up to Tonio's apartment?
Brock told me to leave them with the doorman, and the doorman wouldn't accept them, so I went up. I also thought I could get some information about you and Lucinda in Montega. Tonio gave me the usual double talk. I gave him the papers, and I left. Craig, this isn't about Tonio. This is about Brock.
Okay, yes, I admit that.
I can't turn my back on him.
What do you mean, turn your back on him? What does that mean? Now, Brock says that he's in love with Emily. Why does he need you?
He's going through a rough time. Why can't you understand that?
I guess I can't understand it because I think that there's something going on between you and Brock that you're just not telling me. Honey, please, what is it?
Hello, Julie. I'm glad you could come by. Dean Evian sent the photos he took of you to Bert Brinker. He's the head of advertising for Veronica Leathers. He was very impressed, and he wants to meet you in person.
Really?
Really. They want to fly you to New York.
New York?
Now,
I've never been to New York.
They will arrange everything. A first-class flight, a limousine to pick you up at the airport and take you to the appointment, and to bring you back to the airport when you're done. There should be no problems.
Well, when will this be? I have a few other modeling appointments.
Julie, I don't think you understand. This isn't just another job. They're looking for a signature model. Something the most experienced and successful models hope for. If you're selected, you'll make a great deal of money.
And you really think that I have a chance?
Well, Bert was very excited. So, can I tell him you'll be there next Wednesday?
Next Wednesday? The day before Thanksgiving?
Yes, is that a problem?
Well, if I go to New York Wednesday, what time will I be back?
I should think later that same day. Certainly in time for Thanksgiving, if that's important.
Yeah, it is. Actually, I have plans Wednesday night, too.
Julie, there are probably 1,000 models in New York who would jump at this chance.
I know. Listen, I would just really appreciate it a lot if you could try to reschedule it for me.
Well, let me see what I can do. Cynthia, get me Veronica Leathers on the phone. I need to speak with Veronica Tucci. Thank you.
I really appreciate this.
Is your passport up to date?
I don't even have a passport.
Well, if this works out, they may be sending you to Paris on very short notice. Yes. Thank you. Veronica.
Don't tell me this is about your latest conquest.
What do you mean?
You know very well what I mean.
Well, as usual, I'm only thinking of what's best for Veronica Leathers. Look, Veronica, what is the possibility of rescheduling Julie Wendell's appointment next week?
I'm sure Bert won't care. You're going to an awful lot of trouble for this girl. I'll switch you over to Bert.
All right, thank you. Veronica is very anxious to meet you. Yes, Bert, hello. What is the chance of rescheduling Julie Wendell's appointment for next week? Ah, I see. Yes. No, I'll have to get back to you. All right, thank you, Bert. I'm afraid they're running into a time problem. If you can't make it next Wednesday, they won't be able to see you at all.
Damn. I'll go Wednesday, then.
Good. I think you're making the right decision. They'll have you on the Champagne flight next Wednesday, leaving Oakdale for New York. Look, what if I buy you some lunch to celebrate?
No thanks. I've already eaten. I have to watch my figure, you know?
Oh, yes. All right. Well, I'll be in touch with you before then so we can confirm your itinerary.
Thank you, Tonio. I appreciate this more than you could ever know.
Well, it's my pleasure. Cynthia, I need a first-class ticket on the Champagne flight to New York next Wednesday. No, another one for me.
Who is it?
Andy Dixon is here to see you.
Yeah, send him in, please. Thank you. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Thanks. So, how's it going?
Not so great. That, prosecution is really out for blood.
Is there anything I can do to help you?
Actually, there is. Emily didn't show up for court today, and she said she was going to. I tried to call her at her grandmother's and at the office. All I got was the answering service, and I feel really weird not having her here.
Then I'll track her down. Don't worry about it.
Okay, thanks. Yep. Let me know. Okay.
Hi.
Jessica, hi. Have my father and my mother testified yet?
No, not yet, but I'll be calling them this afternoon.
I'm sure they'll help your case. Yeah. But I don't think anyone knows better than I do what Paul's father has put him through.
Andy, would you be willing to testify?
Sure, if you think it would help.
I think it might. I'll let you know.
Okay, I'll see you later.
Didn't go very well this morning, huh?
Well, no, but it's far from over.
You know, Jess, when I told all those people that I wanted my father dead, I meant it. But I never meant I wanted to kill him. Do you think the jury's gonna understand that?
Paul, before this trial's over, I'll make sure they do.
I know that I heard Paul's testimony.
Well, hon, you know, Benedict was pretty rough on you. For all we know, the jury sympathizes. At least Greta's not here. Maybe she's gone back to Sweden.
Oh, I doubt it. She's just like James. She won't give up.
Oh, poor Barbara. I remember what it's like to be on the witness stand.
Yeah. It's never easy. Unfortunately, Benedict really discredited her with the jury.
Excuse me, Kim. I won't be calling you to testify. I'm sure Benedict's going to bring up the time you perjured yourself, like he did with Barbara.
Jessica, I certainly understand. I'm just so sorry that I can't help.
Excuse me. John, I'm glad you're here.
Hi.
Hi. You'll probably be called as soon as we reconvene.
Okay, I'm ready.
John, I'm going back to the hospital.
Good, thank you. Listen, Jessica, I wanted to talk to you. It's about a legal matter.
John, you know,
but...
this just really is a bad time for me, but maybe my associate, Greg Hadley, could help.
Yeah, sure, that would be good.
Okay, I'll tell him, and he'll give you a call.
Thanks.
Okay. Listen, I won't be calling Kim Hughes, but I'm going to add Andrew Dixon to my list and possibly a Mr. Hank Elliott from New York.
Oh, okay. Here, get all you can on those two.
Hal, you'll probably be called this afternoon.
Okay.
I really want to focus on the shooting in New York. I've been trying to reach Hank Elliott. to see if he'd fly in, but there's no answer at his apartment.
You know, he's probably at the hospital with Charles. Why don't I give a call, see if I can reach him?
Thanks, Barbara.
What do you want to focus on?
Well, I just want to...
Hi, darling.
Duke? Mom, I wanted to tell you that Julie and I will be there for Thanksgiving and the night before.
Oh, honey, that's just wonderful.
I have to,
We'll continue with part 2 of As the World Turns in just a moment. And now, part 2 of As the World Turns.
I don't understand. You keep telling me about how you wanted to get away from Brock because of everything he's done to you, and then I see you time and time again going out of your way to help him.
Craig, this isn't just about Brock. This is about myself. I had a relationship with him, and it was a mistake, but it happened. If Brock can get on with his life and start new with Emily, then a chapter of my life is closed. I can let go of it. Please, please, please try to understand this.
I'm trying. I really am trying to understand. And I trust you. I love you. I'm crazy about you. I love you very much.
I love you, too.
Kirk told us that you were in here, Craig. I want to talk to you about something.
I need to take a file to Olivia, so I'll do that right now. Hello, Lucinda. Hello, Ambrose.
Hi, darling.
Are you okay? Is this about John?
No. Not about John. I have nothing to say about John. It's about Bianca.
You're planning on adopting
You
her?
were there, darling. You were there with me. You know what it was like and what I felt. What do you think?
I think that you're rushing things a little bit. I think that you could just get to know her. Why don't you have her spend the night at the house a few nights before you actually adopt her?
Well, I already suggested that, Craig.
Yeah, like it's some kind of a trial run. She's a sad little girl, and she's had a terrible life, and I want to do something. I want to do something good for somebody. I want to do something good, maybe for me, too.
That's wonderful, but I don't understand what you'd be risking by just moving just a little slower, okay?
You people are making this very difficult for me. You look at me as if I'm nuts and as if I'm replacing Sierra. I can't. And you can't replace people with people. I just want to help this one little girl, and if it makes me feel any better, why can't I do it?
What does John think about all this?
Dr. Dixon, you just told us how James Stenbeck tried to murder your ward, Dustin Donovan, and all the other passengers on a plane from Hispanique in 1984. Do you have any other direct knowledge of James Stenbeck's capacity for violence?
Yes, I do. About 2 years ago, he tried to kill me again. And I know he would have been successful had it not been for his son, Paul.
Please tell the jury what happened.
As I said, about 2 years ago, James surprised my son Andrew and Paul in a very isolated section of woods near my wife's estate. I was out looking for the boys, and as I got there, I heard Paul refused to go away with his father because Paul knew that his father was responsible for kidnapping my wife's daughter, Lily Walsh. It was a rather dangerous situation, and I said to the boys that they should perhaps go back to the house and call the police. But they refused because they didn't want to leave me alone with Stenbeck. And they were quite right, because he pulled a gun on us. I went for the gun, and we started to struggle, and in the struggle, James dropped the gun and screamed at Paul to pick it up and give it back to him, but Paul kicked it off to the side. We continued to fight, and I lost consciousness. And when I woke up, James was standing over me with a rather large rock that he was about to bring down on my head. And it was then that Paul yelled at him, "Don't do that. I'll go wherever you want, just so long as you don't kill him." And he let me go. This young man here saved my life. I know that. I owe it to him.
Thank you, Dr. Dixon. No further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Benedict, do you wish to cross-examine? Yes, Your Honor.
Dr. Dixon, did your wife, Lucinda Walsh Dixon, have an affair with James Stenbeck?
She wasn't my wife. We weren't married at the time.
Well, did your daughter, Margot Hughes, have an affair with James Stenbeck?
Yes, she did, but that was many, many years ago before she was married.
Were you happy about this relationship?
Well, what do you think?
Dr. Dixon, please.
No, I wasn't happy about it.
It's understandable you would harbor some very bitter feelings towards James Stenbeck, considering the fact that he'd slept with your wife and your daughter.
Your Honor, the prosecution have a question all this is leading to.
If you have a question, please ask it and eliminate the buildup, Mr. Benedict.
I will, Your Honor. Did it bother you that James Stenbeck had slept with the two most important women in your life?
Well, of course it bothered me. What does that do, invalidate my testimony? He was a wanted criminal, he was a murderer, he was a drug dealer, he was the scum of the earth.
And I'll tell you something, this young man here should not be on trial. He only did what every law enforcement agency in the world's been trying to do for years. If there was justice in this court, you'd take this boy out, you'd buy him a medal, you'd give him a parade. That's exactly the way I feel about it.
Bianca, what a pleasant surprise. Glad to see you. You look wonderful.
Thank you. Senor Toño, I have to testify in court today.
Ah, I see.
Now, I know that I gave you my word that I would never tell anyone about Sierra's ring, but you see, if I'm under oath, I have to tell them the truth.
Bianca, I can't even imagine that that would come up.
Well, I just don't know what to expect.
Do you want me to go to the courtroom with you?
Oh, no, thank you. I'll be all right.
Well, I think I should go for your sake. Let me drive you there.
Yes, but, you see, I'm going first to Mrs. Dixon's office to speak with her lawyer.
I really wish you'd reconsider about this adoption business.
I've made up my mind. Well, you see, Senora Dixon is alone now, just like me. And I thought her and I could help each other.
All right. But if you ever decide that you've made a mistake, I want you to know that my door is always open to you and you're welcome.
Okay. I'll see you at home. Bye-bye.
Jim
Jim just called from the courthouse. John really outdid himself. He said that Paul should be given a medal for shooting James Stenbeck. Of course, it was all stricken from the record, but the jury will not forget that.
Well, thanks for lunch.
Well, you're welcome.
You know, I think I need some coffee to wash that down.
Oh, is that good, huh? Well, I guess I'll join you. Sorry, we had to talk about grants so much. Oh, here, let me get this.
Yes. No, that's okay. I mean, Lucinda was very, very generous.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I invited her to Thanksgiving.
You did?
Yes, I did.
Well, that was very generous of you. Now, look, I know you're going to be thinking a lot about Lily, and if you don't hear from her, you just have to believe that she's okay, and that's why she called. She called to tell you that, and she will turn up sooner or later.
What would I do without you?
You'd be miserable.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you excited about seeing the kids?
No, not. You think we can get them a hayride?
Oh, yeah, Cal has a rig.
Perfect. I'll get them some overalls and go on the hayride. They can play in leaves. I have them in all kinds of leaves. Look, I don't want to get carried away the way I did last time, okay? So will you promise me if I start to go overboard, just hose me down?
No, I'm not going to be your
up.
conscience anymore. I think it's time that you realize that the kids are only here because of Lenore's generosity and her trust in you. And it's just up to you not to mess up.
Right again.
No, I'm always right.
Say, do you ever mess up?
Well, of course I mess up. I mean, in therapy, I've realized that I'm really afraid of doing the wrong thing. I mean, in a way, I wish I could be more like you. Yes, I do. I wish I could be impulsive. I wish I could just get carried away.
Oh, well, that's easy. I can teach you how
No,
to do
you
that.
can't
Sure
teach me.
it is. Okay, lesson number 1. Put your cup down on the table and let somebody else clean it up. Lesson number 2, take off the rest of the day, and we'll go for a long ride in the country. What do you say?
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Come on, we're not gonna have much time once the kids come. And we'll give it a try. For me. For us.
Because I could have sprung for dessert at the restaurant.
Oh, I'll pick out the cookies over creme brulee any day of the week.
Greg, is Emily here?
No. Come on in. What can I do for you?
I need to talk to Emily. Do you know where she is?
Well, she's probably with Brock. I mean, she was pretty upset about the things going on at the trial, so she took the rest of the day off.
Could you have her call Paul at the courthouse? He was worried when she didn't show up for the trial.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Sure, Ed.
Well, I better get back to the office.
Why? Lucinda's not going to miss you. She's going to be too involved with making her adoption plans.
I cannot believe she's going to adopt Bianca.
You know why she's going to do it.
Because of Lily and Sierra.
She's looking for a replacement daughter, and Bianca is it.
Poor kid. Hope she knows what she's getting into.
Now, I'm warning you, Lucinda. Once the kids get here, no more late hours for me.
Perfectly all right, darling. I can always count on Blake. How are the kids getting here?
Lenore's gonna put them on a jet. I'm gonna pick them up at the airport.
Oh, why do that? I'll send my jet, all right? That way Lenore will feel better about things.
You never cease to amaze me.
You like my beau geste?
Mm-hmm.
Why not, darling? Thanksgiving means a lot. It means a lot to me. Time when families should be together. I would like to spend Thanksgiving with my family, with my Lily and my John, if I could, but
Well, you can spend it with John at least, can't you?
the situation has deteriorated.
What do you mean?
I don't want to talk about it.
Lucinda, look who I bumped
Hi, darling.
into in the elevator.
Good.
Hello,
Hi,
Sarah.
darling.
I'm so sorry that I'm late.
That's all right.
I got off at the wrong bus stop.
Oh, well, you don't have to take buses soon. No, you don't have to. Fenwick can ferry you around town. How long, darling? How long is it going to take for this adoption?
Well, it's hard to tell, but the next step will be for both of you to talk to the judge in charge.
All right, whatever it takes. We don't have to wait for the allowance, though, do we? Let's do an allowance right now.
All
Off
right.
you go.
I'll take care of it
And
right
you,
away.
Gimpy, do you think you could take this young lady on a grand tour of the building?
I'd be happy to. You can meet all the people who live in terror of this lady.
He's joking, dear. Would you get that, please?
Certainly. Hello? Iva! What's up?
Well, I have had a delayed attack of the crazies. Are you still up for playing hooky and taking a drive in the country?
Do birds fly?
Great. Where do I meet you?
I'm on my way. Me too. Bye. I'm sorry. Something has come up. Bianca, our tour will have to wait.
Oh, that's all right. I have to be at the courthouse soon anyway.
Well, love you. Remember what I said. You can do it. You can get that man back.
All right. Bianca, you'll have me. I will take you on the grand tour. I could come to the courthouse, too. I can be there while you testify.
Oh, well, thank you, but you see, Senor Tonio's meeting me at the courthouse.
Darling, I know you have great loyalty to Senor Tonio, but you should know that he said some very damaging things about Paul. He made Paul look very bad in front of the jury.
Well, thanks anyway for what you said on the stand, John.
I just hope it helps Paul.
I wish I could have helped him. I'm afraid my testimony hurt him more than anyone else's.
I don't know. Benedict's shrewd. The thing that worries me is that he's getting the jury to see Paul as an overly emotional kid who's trying to hide something about his relationship with Emily. It's not good.
I'm really looking forward to Thanksgiving at the Hughes. My Gram used to every year save up and get a turkey and the whole works, but well, the last couple of years she was just too sick.
You still miss her, don't you, Duke?
Yeah.
Well, now, on Thanksgiving, the night before, we always gather together and try to think about things that have happened in the past year that we should be grateful for. And this year, that would certainly include your coming to town.
I was able to reach Hank. He was at the hospital with Charles.
How is Charles?
He's hanging on by a thread. And there was such pain in Hank's voice, I just didn't have the heart to ask him to come here. But he did tell me to give Paul a message, so if you excuse me.
Sure.
Well, that's a pity. Hank Elliott would have been the perfect witness for you to pursue.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about calling Emily for the defense, but I think we just better be happy with what we got from her earlier testimony. I don't want to give Benedict the chance to cross-examine her.
Yeah, I quite agree. That could really hurt us.
I think you did very good.
Yeah?
Yes, I
You think
do.
so?
Yeah, I do. I think that your testimony really helped Paul. You know, I must say that I didn't... I held my breath. I was so afraid that Benedict was going to bring up the time that you disappeared and you faked your own death.
Good thing his research didn't go that far back.
Yeah, good thing.
Good work, Pop.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to get back to work, Pop. Bye, good work.
So you think you did okay, huh? Yes. I'm sure glad I never met James Stenbeck.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing you never did.
What's Lucy doing with Bianca?
I think you better get used to it. I think she's going to adopt her.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not.
Huh. Maybe I should talk to Bianca. You know. Wonder about Lucy's Ming dogs and all the other stuff, too.
John, I'd like a word with you, please. Alone.
Really, I think I've said all there is to say. Come on.
Lucinda, I've just been talking to Greg Hadley. He told me that John wants to start divorce proceedings.
Paul, all trials have their ups and downs. It didn't go very well today, but that's no reason to be discouraged. Hello?
Hi, it's Andy. Is Paul there?
Yeah, hold on. Paul, it's Andy. You should make it quick. We're going to be going back in soon.
What's up? Did you find Emily?
No. She wasn't at her grandmother's house or the office. Craig said she came into work, but he gave her the rest of the day off.
What's the matter? Is she sick or something?
No. Craig said she was with Brock Lombard.
All right. Thanks.
Hi. I thought you were at the trial.
No, I saw Paul there. He wanted me to find Emily for him.
Why? What is it with those two?
I don't know. How was the meeting with Tonio?
I have some good news and some bad news.
Good news first.
The good news is that the head of Veronica Leathers wants to see me in New York. And the bad news is they want to see me the day before Thanksgiving.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I will.
Miss Marquez, how long have you known the defendant, Paul Stenbeck?
Since last spring, when I first came to this country. He was one of the first friends that I made here, and he was always very nice to me.
Where were you living at that time?
At the home of Antonio Reyes. I was his housekeeper.
Did Paul ever discuss his father with you?
Yes.
What was his attitude toward his father?
He felt ashamed that such an evil man could be his father.
Miss Marquez, did you witness an argument between Paul and Senor Reyes?
Oh, yes. It was early this summer.
Would you tell the jury what happened?
Paul and I had been out for the evening, and he brought me home.
Please, go on.
Well, we talked for a while, and then he kissed me, and Senor Antonio came downstairs. He was very angry, and he told Paul to get out. And then he said that Paul was just like his father, trying to take advantage of women.
Was Paul trying to take advantage of you?
No. No, he wasn't doing anything wrong.
What happened then?
And then Senor Antonio said that Paul's father was a criminal and that Paul had the same blood in his veins. And so Paul, he tried to hit him, but Senor Antonio prevented him, and then Senor Antonio pushed him down on the floor very hard.
So when Paul tried to hit Senor Antonio, he had been provoked?
Yes, very much so.
So then did he get up and try to hit him again?
No.
Thank you, Miss Marquez. No more questions.
Does the state wish to cross-examine? Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Marquez, you say that you and Paul Stenbeck had discussions about his father. Did he ever say he hoped his father was dead? Please answer the question, and I remind you, you're under oath.
He hoped his father was dead only so that he would not hurt him.
He said he hoped his father was dead. Did he tell you that more than once?
Yes.
Speak up, the jury can't hear you.
Yes, he said it the evening that his father phoned him.
Can you remember his exact words?
Oh, he said he wished to God that his father was dead.
Stay tuned for Guiding Light, next on most of these CBS stations. Fashions by Betsy Johnson. Join us tomorrow for As the World Turns. This is CBS.